put your Akademiks and check it out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited P3. Now, finally released from the OVO sweatshop where he was bounded by ball and chain, penning countless hits for Drizzy Drake, who we all know, even though we all wanted a party album, Drake kept taking Party's album to put on his party album. All right, now, interesting enough, reference tracks, a bunch of other tracks have came out, leaks from PartyNextDoor, and he did release some officially, but to me, they were under-promoted, right? Including a banger, which he had with Travis Scott called No Feelings. I don't know why people ain't really fuck with that song as I did. I just feel like his music hasn't gotten the attention it really deserves, okay? But with P3, which is PartyNextDoor 3, we were assured that it was about to change. It's time to glow up, man. Now, it dropped a couple days ago, 16 tracks, and we won't have sales yet, so we ain't even going to talk about that. But we also know he doesn't do press, so the most promotion this entire tape will get is from his boss, right? And also OVO Radio, and probably a couple tweets and probably some Instagram posts, all right? Outside of that, he probably won't be getting too much promotion other than word of mouth by fans, right? Now, if you check out the entire album, not much radio records, and I've seen on Twitter a lot of people have mixed feelings about this track, okay? His fan base could appreciate it, but some people are like, yo, this ain't the party we know. Because, listen, even though people like PartyNextDoor, people like Ram Riddles, okay, Roy Woods, they're being credited with kind of help push that quasi-R&B, dancehall, Afrobeat to the forefront. I mean, when they do it, it's kind of not as polished as when Drake does it, okay? I just got to keep it trill, all right? Now, that's the direction that this album's going. It's more reggae dancehall infused, which is an evolution, not a complete change. If you really like OG PartyNextDoor, he's still there, but it feels like he's connected and he's feeling more comfortable with the music that he wants to make and also expressing himself, okay? Of course, if you guys know, a lot of people in Toronto, they got like Caribbean ties or Caribbean roots, or that's really how a lot of people kind of talk. They use Caribbean slang, and if you know PartyNextDoor, he is, I believe, Jamaican. So, without sales, man, we're going to kind of get into it. Let's go by track. Track 1, it starts off with a track called High Hopes. I mean, it kind of already sets the tone of the album. Kind of dark for an intro, I'm not going to lie, but it seems like he's kind of reminiscing. It's kind of half drugged out. And listen, I'm listening to this. I really enjoyed this while I was driving late at night or I was really off the Henny, okay? I was in the studio off the Henny listening to this joint. It's very smooth, and I think it's a great way to open up this album. Now, track 2 is called Don't Run. Now, this got to be a dedication track to Kalani. It's kind of smooth, but you kind of listen to it, and this is kind of the reason why he's getting some criticism for this album, because people are criticizing PartyNextDoor, not for the melodies, not for the vibes. They're criticizing for the lyrics, because he got like a lyric on there that says, say you a vegan, but you going ham. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That's very fucking corny, okay? But I don't think I was really expecting too much dope melodic bars from Party, okay? But a lot of people are criticizing him, saying it was kind of lazy with some of those lines he had in there, right? Now, track 3 is called Nobody. I mean, the sample is kind of distinctively present. If you don't know what the sample is, it's Wale and SZA. Need to know, so get that credit. But also, man, the bars, when you actually check it out, right, you kind of get that he's talking about a real-life situation which he was involved in a couple months ago, which involves a basketball player named Kyrie Irving, all right? It seems like he's dissing him, all right? Now, again, he could also not be dissing him, but it seems like he's talking about Kyrie, all right? Now, think about this, man. It's a very dope track, but it's a track you probably could make love to if you're that type of guy. But outside of that, I don't see too much replay value unless you're really with a shorty. But most of these tracks have the same type of vibe. All right. Now, track 4, Not Nice. This is that track which is my favorite on the entire tape. I believe it's the upcoming single, and you should already knew this is going to be the favorite of mine because it's up-tempo. Okay, it has Vybz Kartel on it, and in my opinion, this was like the B-side of, if you like Rihanna and Drake's Too Good record, this is like a B-side of that record, a little bit more raw, a little bit more, I want to say, real and closer to the culture, and I really fuck with it. Okay, incredibly dope, and it probably, to me, sums up the entire vibe of the album and what PartyNextDoor is probably aiming for. So I really fucked with and appreciated and was impressed by this song. Now, track 5 is a track called Only You. Now, this kind of feels like the only legit dancehall rhythm actually on the tape. But it's pretty legit. I mean, the melody and the Brookout sample, I mean, to be honest, man, the only critique of this particular song is that the drums dropped in a little bit too late. I love the bass line, though. It kind of brought in a very authentic dancehall feeling. I can understand why his fans who have never really heard him delve this deep into dancehall culture or dancehall sonics might be a little bit caught off guard, like we didn't really expect or we weren't anticipating this. All right, now track 6, it's a track called Don't Know How. It's a song where PartyNextDoor is singing about piping out a chicken. I mean, in R&B terms, you know these niggas call it love making. I call it donkey fucking, but this track is overall dope. Overall dope gets a pass. All right, track 7 is a track called Problems and Selfless. Yet another Kalani mention, if you ask me, because he's talking about kill yourself and blame it on the love, but it's an interesting track. I mean, he's talking about good problems, right? He's saying he has good problems. He got 2 women, they're fighting over him. He's even wishing his son has those problems. And then he talks about how a chick could be selfish, kind of blaming everything that went wrong on him, and he's saying he's selfless because he'll just sit back, take the blame, and he won't just like complain. Well, I mean, come on. PND's a good old guy, ain't he? Now, track 8 is a track called Temptation. It's a pretty decent track. Great vibes. I mean, I could tell he had a good vision in mind for the song. I would say this, though. If I had to critique it, the execution and the melodic appeal could have been a little bit better. But I fucked with the song. Okay, number 9 is a song called Spiteful. Now, I really enjoy this song. The Mod Cabra sample, I think that was dope. I don't think it was at the right place on the track, considering the vibe, the feel, and the flow that was taking place. But concept-wise, it was dope. I mean, he's telling his ex, yo, bitch, don't be spiteful, okay? I got new bitches. You got new niggas, okay? Now, the instrumental has to be appreciated because it does most of the work on the second half of the track. Like, his voice is turned all the way down, and sometimes I think it's turned off. So the instrumental does most of the work for the second half of the track. Now, track 10 is a track called Joy. Now, what a flip, man. He just went from talking about being spiteful to now he's talking about joy. Now, this is kind of really an interlude, in my opinion, because it reminded me of Robin Thicke. I think he was channeling his inner Robin Thicke, if there is one, and he's pretty much singing about how he wants to feel joy. All right? It's pretty simple, nothing complex, pretty decent as well. Now, track 11, You've Been Missed. I think this is a dope record. The second verse especially stands out to me. The chorus moves as well, so I think it's great vibes. I think this is a dope track. Okay, track 12, the same thing as track 11 almost, because the second verse kind of did it for me, all right? And if I have to say something about PND overall, is that if anything prevents PND from really becoming that superstar, which I'm sure we all think he can be, or we hope he will become, it's going to be his voice and vocal delivery. It's not as clear, and perhaps it's because of the Toronto/Caribbean accent to the average listener, but a lot of times he's singing some shit, and it seems like he's either mumbling or he's just kind of charring the words together. They're kind of like, it's kind of mixed up. Okay, and it's not like he's speaking a different language. Sometimes it's either the effects on his voice or whatever studio engineering is doing to his shit, but like it's not as easily identifiable every word he says as opposed to like a Drake. I mean, Drake might not sound authentic singing dancehall, but you could definitely hear him better when he's pronouncing words. So I really think it's enunciation, not even more about what culture you're from. So I think he has to improve on that a little bit. His voice is a little bit like, I don't want to say raspy, but it's a little bit different. It's not clear as other people's, all right? Track 13. Now, listen, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Brown Skin, beat was whack. It didn't fit the song. Not gonna lie, the song is barely decent. I might even say the whole song is whack because it's not even because of Party, too. It's really mostly because of the beat. The mixing of his vocals and also the beat didn't fit together. The vibe that was created, it really didn't mix with like even the lyrics and the vocal. I'm not gonna lie, man, I really did not enjoy this track. All right, track 14 is a track called 1942. And if you are a drinker like moi, you will like this song. This resonated with me, even though I'm not a big fan of tequila, but I definitely have had many a nights with a shorty where I'm using the liquor to facilitate the turn up, so it's amazing. Okay, PND created a great vibe. I mean, you could tell he was either drunk doing this track or he was drunk when he came up with a thought because it felt very real. And if you've never taken like shots or drank during or before sex, you probably can't relate. All right, track 15, Come and See Me, featuring Drake. We've all heard this damn song, man. The original single on the album, and I enjoyed it. I mean, not gonna lie, and if I had to critique about this one, would be like, I really expected something a little bit higher tempo from these two. Reminiscent of, let's say, Recognize, remember that track with him and Drake? Or even Preach, from If You're Reading This Is Too Late. But obviously, the video came out. He was with Kylie, and I believe a lot of people enjoyed it. To me, it was cool, but I expect more from Party and Drake. All right, now track 16, which is the last track on the tape, it's called Nothing Easy to Please. Now, in my opinion, this is low-key a banger. I mean, I absolutely love this track, and I think it was a great way to end the album, man. I think that this track could have came even earlier, and for a lot of people who might have had a hard time navigating through the album and might even cut it off early, had he put this track at like track 4, people would have probably been influenced like, yo, these are like 4 hot tracks to really start the album, because this was one of the standout tracks in my opinion. Now, that's the end of the album. All right, now if I had to give you 3 songs that you should listen to kind of get a summary of how the album is, I would say number 1 is Not Nice. Number 2 is Nothing Easy to Please. And number 3, I would either say High Hopes or Don't Run. So check out all those tracks if you don't want to listen to the entire tape, but you want to get the vibe of it. I will say this, man. Just overall, just rating this album, I got to give this album a 4 out of 5. I really wanted to give it more, but I got a lot of decent. I didn't get a bunch of whack. I got a bunch of decent. I got a bunch of B's, C pluses, B plus, C plus, B plus, it all averages to a B. Okay? Nothing overly amazing, nothing overly trash. Right? We got a lot of stuff that was kind of just above average. That's why it's a B. All right? Get in the comment box, make sure you guys like. I want you guys to give your rating when I get some news on what's going to happen with the sales. Of course, it's going to be on Apple Music, and then we're going to see how the sales will come out via other outlets and even just physical sales. But I'll let you guys know that at a later time. Okay, get in the comment box. I want you guys to rate it as well. And I do got more reviews coming for y'all. I've been slacking on the reviews, but this is one to let y'all know I'm back at it. All right? Get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like. Definitely subscribe. I'm out.